platforms. This relief is acknowledged and appreciated, and we hope the city continues to upward this trajectory that is going. Games alone voted for this government. The creative arts sector voted based on clear documented official manifesto, and it is against this document that we must now assess. Over the past 1 year, the administration executed several interventions which we believe are achievements. Ghana's national is scheduled for a major refurbishment starting 2026. So, since it has been long, fund was secured in 2025, with the Chinese government committing $30 million for the project, with the Ghana government also allocating funds in the 2026 budget. 2. In 2025, the John Mahama-led government appointed first ever secretary for the Creative Arts Agency, as well as the board, since the Act 1048 was gazetted. The erstwhile NPP government failed to appoint an executive secretary, the board, and rather the president's daughter, Jankroma Ekufuado, occupied the position. 20 million allocated in 2026 budget as seed capital to support various creative industries and their value chain. This is a promise President John Mahama made in 2025 when he met the President House. Under the NDC and John Dramani Mahama government, they have appointed more creatives into governance to play critical roles, and we believe this is very commendable. President in his 120 days promised to deliver the launch of Black Star Experience, which is the banner of the Creative Tourism and Culture Manifesto of the NDC. In 2025, Ghana's fashion contributed about $2.42 billion to the national economy, culture, and creative arts. A listening government, FOCAP raised issues of the creative agency website, which was directed to a private website, and it was fake within the agency. The Ashanti actively started working to revive the Kumawood film industry, which faced struggles, by establishing a ministerial committee to revive the committee was established in 2020. This has led to the formation of the Kumawood Ashanti Film Association. And then we have GTDC Accra by Night, a popular government-backed night tour initiative offering immense experience to a tour of Ghana's capital, highlighting culture and history. Establishment of Black serve as Ghana's lead core and creative engaging local and international audiences. These are achieved over 1 year they have been first. The creative arts sector voted based on documented NDC's manifesto, and it's against this document that we must now perform. We understand the manifesto to be achieved over the term of administration, but as we say in Ghana parlance, a first candidate in the morning. The Black Star Experience is what we're going to look at, i.e. promises versus reality. Under the Black Star experience, the government promised to roll out the following: Black African Month celebrating heritage, history, and diaspora engagement, and awards month. 3. Ghana Music World. 4. Culinary month. 5. Architecture, Design, Arts month. Fashion month. 7. Literacy, Literary month. State categorically objectives were delivered or began within the first step of the administration. Disappointed. The only related activity, taste the culture, left much up. Has chosen for now to withhold comment on the statements included the following. Support young digital content creators to promote them, to support review and strictly enforce broadcasting digital collection and management with editorials for films, concerts, and special events. Again, none of these fall within the first of whether the sector the economy. Indeed, all notable assets recorded in the sector over the past year were driven largely by individual artists. Their management teams create government intervention. This is particularly troubling given the key appointments that have already been made. The Creative Arts Agency now has a substantive and especially the registration enterprise. Instead, the agency appears preoccupied with activities removed from its primary responsibilities. The government also supports GAMRO, yet ironically, GAMRO recorded one of the lowest distribution in December. We're talking about royalty. The immense job creation potential of the creative sector. President stands this President Mahama, art and culture, to take a personal and serious interest in the sector. Additionally, the much publicized promise of a new theater in the Ashanti region remains unfulfilled, with reports indicating that land for the project has not even been secured. Indeed, under the 1 year of John Dramani Mahama, the sector never experienced any of these major achievements as espoused in their manifesto. FOCAP, we believe, this did not mark a good 1 year of the government within the creative arts sector. The manifesto outlines some low-hanging fruits that FOCAP believed should have taken off by now. 1. Local content creation initiatives to drive job opportunities. 2. Collection management system or copyright and royalties in Ghana. 3. Digital content creators, especially the young, to develop content that promotes Ghanaian culture. 4. Introduce tax breaks for creative arts artists who have tax identification numbers, i.e. 10. 6. Special event channel for the creative art programs on digital terrestrial television, that is DDT, with pay-per-view technology to encourage content development. 7, special rates to be given at cultural events at the Black Star Square, Accra International Conference Center, and other venues owned by the government. These are some low-hanging fruits we expected the government to act on it in its first year, but zero was done. We hope that the government will speed up through its agencies and ministries to take action on their tangible Black Star Manifesto. FOCAP, as an advocacy and pressure group, has its eagle eye open to see and equally help grow the orange economy to see its full potential. FOCAP will always keep a close and a watchful eye on this administration, continually reminding it of its promises made to the creative sector. We expect progress in the second year because the performance was not as expected. Assessment of the minister will be addressed to avoid conflicting issues. So these are the things that we believe as the 1 year of President John Dramani Mahama's government performed under the creative arts sector. And indeed, there are some few things that we really want to touch on, and I'm sure my Vice President will also come after I'm done with some of these elaborations in here. So for instance, the low-hanging fruits that we're talking about, we expected that at least this December, the manifesto had promised, and which we believe is a low-hanging fruit, was the fact that you would have also reduced the price or the cost that is involved when creatives also go into pick up these centers that are for government, i.e. conference centers, national theaters, and all that, but we never saw them initiated. We thought, or we believe, that is one of the critical things that was low-hanging fruit for the government to use this December as an opportunity to deal with it. That we did not see it. One of the things that we also expected the president and the government, or probably the minister in charge of tourism, creative arts, and culture, to do was to also brief us, to let us understand what has really been the update when it comes to the existing amphitheaters that the previous government left behind. As we speak, these centers or these areas are still there, and we don't even know the update of some of these structures that we have. And I think it's also disappointing for us not to also hear from the minister for one solid year to give us update on what has transpired when it comes to the amphitheaters that the ex-war government left uncompleted. Another thing that is also worrying that we also wanted to touch on has to do with the cultural policy of this country. Now, as we speak, the country still does not have a cultural policy to guide our culture, to guide us to understand what we really want. We don't have it. The last time we checked, it was in the process. As we speak, we do not even know the update, or the creatives and by and large, Ghanaians do not know the update of their own cultural policy that is supposed to guide us, which we know that culture is one of the pivot when it comes to a country. We don't have it. And that for us is another problem. We also that there are a lot of overlapping when it comes to the agencies. And we've said this thing time and time again, that some of the overlapping agencies do not see how they are really positioned well in the space. We are looking at NFA, we're looking at Creative Arts Agency. What are they looking at? We're going to use two for us to have one. Which one is up and which one is down? All these ones, we do not have any update on that in terms of law. As we speak, one interesting thing that we should know is that the National Commission on Culture, as it stands now, is still holding on to the PNDC Law 238, which established it in 1990. And as we speak, the law has not changed. The law is still the same. Interestingly, that same law still holds and brings in the agencies that we have divided for us to have almost about 12 or 13 agencies that we have, i.e. National Theatre. Under the law of the PNDC law, it is still under National Commission on Culture. By executive instrument, it is now separated. So what it tells us is that we do not even have what it takes to even bring everybody on board. We are using archaic laws in dealing with our creative sector, which is wrong. It will interest you to know that as we speak, again, we still have our heritage museums. We still have these areas, our museums and all that, under a 1960 law. For us, we think that from which days, 1960 up until now, we still don't have a new law that really will regulate our heritage and museums, which is unfair to the sector. So if we're still holding on to a 1960 law, we're still holding on to a 1990 law, then it means it's not good for us. FOCAP also concluded that we're going to use in measuring the government and the ministry. One has to do with policy. We don't have a line policy past 1 year direct the creative sector, which what we realize is that for the past 1 year programs was zero. Another P. For the past 1 year project happened. All that we knew that happened was the last P, which is partnership. And we think that partnership worked with GTA. Of course, with the Dirty December, they had a lot of partnership with other groupings that made it possible for Dirty December to happen. But not a clear cut. Even for Black Star Experience, they also benefited from the last P that we have as in partnership. That is where they also had themselves to do enough when it comes to events and all that. Talking about Black Star Experience, we will come and talk about Black Star Experience in our next press release, because we still will have to have a whole time to deal with the Black Star Experience. Actually, the framework of Black Star Experience, and then what we were told that Black Star Experience is supposed to do as against what we are seeing. And then in the near future, we believe that we need to come back to look at the whole framework and then come back to really deal with some of these things. We believe that government this year was just jumping on optics. It was all about optics and not really dealing with their manifesto, what they promised. And indeed, we are saying that this second year, we want to see much execution from the manifesto for the creatives. And we believe that if it is done, we will come back and still tell the president or probably the government they've done well. If you've not done well, we will come back to say otherwise. So this is where I will end, and then I will get in my vice president in charge of research, and then vice president himself to also have their comments on some of these things that we have raised or probably talk about when it comes to press statement. Thank you so much.